Hello again. If you manage to find me in this vast YouTube universe, welcome. I hope it's for a reason. I want to show you this location that I'm recording today. The place overlooking the historic Canterbury Cathedral in the distance. In fact, I'm standing on this place called Lost Railway. Planned railway, supposed to be those tracks, and it ends somewhere in front. So it's called Lost Railway. Although there are two railways that are running parallel to this, you might hear the sound of it from time to time. This is probably my last long format monologue from England, as we are moving back to Asia next Friday. Yeah. So probably the theme of today's monologue is about the past 6.5 years. One of the most interesting 6 years of my life. I earned a PhD by doing a piece of research that many of my friends consider a brave, pioneering research. I hope you can hear me. I'm wearing this wearable mic. One of my a client that admired my work suggested to me. So if he's watching, I hope he will be happy that I followed his advice. It's a really good piece of technology. Yeah, and then just 2 days before I graduated from my PhD, I had a son. So it's a really eventful 6 years of my life. For which my family, my wife and my daughter, made a huge sacrifice to come here and be with me while I was doing it. While they were losing a lot of things, while I was gaining some things. So I have, first of all, have a lot of love and gratitude for their sacrifice. I don't know how I would repay that. I don't know if they would ask me to repay, but even if I were to do, I don't know how I would do that, but I wanted to acknowledge that. And also to dear England, one of the kindest places I ever been to, some of the most kindest people I ever met, so gentle. So I am so grateful for these 6 years in this beautiful place. I liked every bit of it, except perhaps the COVID lockdown at the beginning of my PhD. Other than that, I really liked the cold, the rain, the heat, everything. It was really good experience and I'm leaving with nothing but gratitude for this experience. You will probably, if you're curious enough, will find out what I did for my PhD work, why some of my closest friends who are also my cheerleaders say my work is very important. But there is a grim reality in higher education. Probably you are aware, if you are interested in this kind of topics, that due to lack of funding, it is difficult to continue researches that are important but at the same time might not be of any profit or interest to others. Just to save you the suspension, I focused on, in my research, adult survivors of childhood abuse, to be somewhat generic. And I know there are many who have experienced that, but in my work I focused mainly, perhaps solely, on male survivors, simply because there, at least in my cultural context, there was a huge space for that, as boys are considered, like in many cultures, disposable in many ways. So if you happen to be one of them, not that I'm gonna take on the responsibility of healing your trauma or anything like that, but I would really like you to come along and connect with my work in one way or another. As I have explored and come to a conclusion about my ability to attract funds or research positions in universities and all of that, part of me is hoping to directly connect with the survivors themselves, which is something that I've been advocating in my attempt to do further research, to do what I describe as research of the survivors, by the survivors, and for the survivors, whichever the order that you say that, which essentially means democratic creation of knowledge based on survivors' experiences. So within the limitation of these social media and internet, if you would like to connect with and share your experience and contribute to that continuing creation of knowledge, I welcome you to do that, and I encourage you to do that. So as we end our chapter here, we are, for the most part, going home, but professionally and personally we are stepping into a little bit of uncertainty, but we are also intrigued by that, almost wanting to explore and find out what's there for us, what's there waiting for us, other than the heat. Yeah, so in this slightly longer but shorter than my last monologue, I wanted to kind of show my appreciation in this beautiful place that I've been cycling and walking across for many days and weekends, that I really appreciate this experience. I would love to come back here if the conditions are ripe for us. I made several lifelong friends, which I'm so grateful and happy about. And also, I know as an adult who's conscious of all the political dynamics, coming from a sort of a post-colonial country, there are a lot of uncertainties, changes in this country. And as the country has shown in the past, 75, 80 years, I think it's a country with so much resilience, culture, and good nature. And despite all the toxic things you may hear in media, I never met anybody who has been nasty to me or anything like that. Everyone I met in this country, whether they are, whatever the definition you would say, native or otherwise, have been kind, generous, compassionate. So I am really hopeful for this kingdom to thrive for many more years. And at the same time, if you are some corner in the universe hearing this, I really would like you to join and see what we are up to. All right, with that, until I see you again, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.